Company the Bright Spear numbered 6. The tall leader, Burlane, bore the enchanted Bright Spear. With him rode a younger swordsman, the fierce Faristil. Delg, the dwarf, was also a warrior. His constant companion was the merry bard Rymil, brightest of them all. The wizard, Thale, deferred to his younger, louder companions. Last and least was the thief, one Shandril, a bright-eyed, soft-spoken waif in ill-fitting breeches and a much-patched tunic. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Himbar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Ed Greenwood's Spellfire. Spellfire is a 1988 novel by Ed Greenwood, who is the creator of the Forgotten Realms, by the way. This is also the first of Shandril's Saga, which is a trilogy. Now, this is Ed Greenwood's first published novel in the Forgotten Realms, and there are apparently two versions. The one on the screen now is the first version and is older. Also has the older logo, if you see that. Now the new one, which you'll see later on the screen in a couple minutes, has some new material that was originally cut from the original publication. I think it's about 40 pages that are just added back in. It's not essentially like stuff he wrote later. It's just stuff that makes the story more cohesive, apparently. I did read this later version, so I'm not sure if there might be problems with the original version, though the original version has the way better cover. So anyways, at the beginning we have Shandril, who is a scullery maid at the roadside Rising Moon Inn outside of High Moon, the capital of Deepingdale, which is about the Heartlands area of Forgotten Realms, or the Dalelands, of course. Shandril is an orphan working for the slovenly or gourmand chef Corvin and the owner and ex-adventurer Gorstag, who's actually decent. Now she dreams of getting away from the mundane servitude at an end and maybe enjoying the freedom of adventuring. The company of the Bright Spear has come to the Rising Moon, leaves Shandril daydreaming, but also with a unique opportunity when the company's rogue is killed after drawing steel when caught stealing. She becomes a thief by quick wit, while not a thief at heart, and it's kind of a great experience. Actually, it's pretty interesting because again, she's not really a thief character, but that's kind of where she finds herself, at least early on in that role. There are a ton of characters in this story. I feel like Ed was trying to introduce a lot of important characters in the Forgotten Realms for readers so they could get more of a feel for them. We have Storm Silverhand, one of the Seven Sisters, and Charantir of the Knights of Mid-Draenor, both of Shadowdale, and they both make an appearance. We have Giselle Silvertree of Shadowdale and Marith Strongbow. They make appearances as well. They're both of the Knights of Mid-Draenor, like Charantir. We also have Florin Falconhand, Elistil Elventree, Lansor Snowmantle, also the Knights of Mid-Draenor. We also have Elminster, Sage of Shadowdale. We also have Morngrim and Torm and more. I'll just stop at this point, but suffice it to say, there are so many important Realms characters here that make cameos and such. It isn't really an odd menagerie of people coming on stage and then exiting, but it's not really confusing either. It's not bad. Take it as you will. There's just a lot of people that are making small cameos like that, rather than just unimportant characters. You know, these are actual important characters in the realms at large, but not so much in the story. Now, this is largely an introduction to the area of the Dalelands and the Heartlands of Faerun. We also get the Zentrum, Cult of the Dragon, even the Malagrum. I've seen the Zentrum and Cult of the Dragon in lots of Forgotten Realms material. The Malagrum, not so much. Maybe they show up in older material. I've only ever seen them in the Cloak of Shadows and All Shadows Fled, books 2 and 3 of the Shadow of the Avatar series, also by Greenwood, which I read earlier this year. We also have Manshun, a high-ranking servant of the evil god Bane, and others. So, yeah, I'm not... There's just a lot of people on this one. Anyways, so in some ways it does seem like a typical D&D adventure leaning, meaning this was played out around a table and novelized later. Though I don't know if that's actually the case. I wouldn't be surprised if that's not the case, but it kind of gives you that vibe, which not all my experience Greenwood novels do. Greenwood is rather divisive. I liked it. This isn't his best work, but it definitely is still Greenwood. Here, though, even though we have all these characters, Shandril is really the main character. It is her story, and while some faces will come into the picture for short, intermediate, or long periods of time, it's hers at the end. One of the other more important characters is a young man named Narm. He is apprenticed to Marmar, the mage most magnificent, who is taking them on an arrogant expedition to the forest around Myth-Draenor. This kind of ends in devils, of course, because that's who's living in Myth-Draenor at the time. Maybe a little fatalistic here. It does get very quickly into the action, and is also very, well, into the action throughout, I would say. I was actually often afraid for the lives of some of the characters, and it's kind of justified in the end. So, also, Spellfire plays a prominent role. Spellfire is the raw energy of the weave, which is the magic of sorts, so of which all spells get their energy. Those rare users of Spellfire can absorb energy from spells, making them almost immune to arcane attacks. These people can also use Spellfire to heal, fight, fly, etc. I thought the story might be, again, a little different from later Greenwood stuff, but it still has a fun but relatable story. It's touching at times, has the Greenwood flair of quick immolations, and the realms being rather open with sexual content, though this isn't, inappropriate in my opinion. It's just kind of like a hippie free love kind of sexual content. Also, apparently the later version, the one not with the Dracolich cover, and again, has those more chapters in it, so take that as you will. Though I actually don't have an original cover version. I would like one because it just looks so cool. Also, there's a lot of bits and pieces in here, especially bits and pieces about Selgant, or Symbia as a whole. So if you're a fan of Symbia, you might want to read Spellfire just to pick up more pieces for your own game or something like that. So anyways, this was, again, a good Greenwood novel. Not great, but I did enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to books 2 and 3. And anyways, from Liam Liam's Lyceum, I definitely review lots of Forgotten Realms here, so stay tuned for more. Catch you next time.